Hi YouTube, I hope you're well. I'm not very well. I've always had problems with my mental health, and some days it's worse than others, and in the last few days it's just been really, really bad. And I was watching some of my old videos on YouTube, because someone mentioned one of my old videos, and that kind of set me off into watching a few of them, and it made me realise like how much more compelling and interesting I used to be than I am now. Like, if you watch my videos from when I first got onto YouTube compared to now, firstly I got really fucking angry, right? I was like so furious. That's why I got on YouTube and started ranting and poning, you know. People gave me a really hard time because women aren't really allowed to rant and pone, and I was put in my place pretty fucking quickly. So I was like, well, if I'm going to have any viewers, I'm going to have to like word things a bit more nicely. So I basically started debating, and I started trying to look a bit more respectable, wear more smart clothes, and try to put across a bit more of a like, yeah, I'm a person who can make rational, logical arguments that you might actually, give some credence to. But then I got listed on loads of men's rights activist websites and embedded in all of their websites, so my whole channel just basically got swamped with men's rights activists, or really there weren't even men's rights, they were just misogynists. So I kind of got put off of that, so I ended up just talking about what I can be an authority on, which is me, my mental health, my depression. But then I had lots of people unsubscribing because they found my videos depressing, understandably. And they would tell me in the comments, I really like you and I really loved your channel before, but I can't watch anymore because it makes me feel too depressed and it's too triggering for me to listen to you talk about mental health problems. Which is understandable. I think there's definitely, you can either take solace from listening to someone talk about it, or it can be triggering, and it can do the opposite of what I've always intended on YouTube, is to share. I'm not going to lie, it was a selfish intention as well. Like, I very much felt the need to express myself and talk about how I really saw the world when I didn't see anyone else talking about it like that. But anyway, so this is a difficult video to make. I've been feeling really bad for the last few days, and I've been thinking about my friend who killed himself. We met at a Coughlin gig, actually. I went to see Coughlin do one of his gigs, and I met someone else off of YouTube, one of Coughlin's fans off of YouTube, and we became friends, and I started hanging out with him, and he had high-functioning Asperger's. He had high-functioning autism. What's now known as high-functioning autism was previously Asperger's. To a severe degree. He was very clearly not neurotypical. He needed a lot of reassurance. He would worry a lot that he'd said something that would offend you, or he was talking too much and you were bored and he hadn't picked up on it, and he was very blank to signals like that. Like, I would be standing by the door at his house, like in his bedroom at the door, like kind of like indicating I'm about to go to the toilet, and most people would pick up on that, but he wouldn't, and I'd have to say, I'm really sorry, I just need to go to the toilet, I'll be right back. But that was fine for me because I'm actually a bit aspy myself, and I really appreciate having my friendships just clearly delineated. I do like you, I think you're a nice person, I really like hanging around with you. No, you're not boring me. I'm not quite diagnosably aspy, but I think I do have an element on that spectrum. And so we got on amazingly well, basically, and we would have these debates. Literally, I would get there at like 10 in the morning, and we would debate until about 5 a.m. the next day. Incredibly intense like debates about the world and everything, and it was amazing to have found someone else that saw the world basically almost exactly the way that I did. They weren't really debates because we didn't really disagree on anything. We were just adding more and more observations to what we were observing, and he would show me things from the internet that he'd found that he thought I would find interesting. And he was a very kind person. He would always try to do things for me, drinking a glass of whiskey now in his honour, because whenever I went round there, he'd have an unopened bottle of Lafroig. This Scotch whiskey, which is made with peat in the Highlands. Has a very peaty flavour, and he wasn't really ever a drinker. He didn't really like to drink, but whenever I would come round, he would have a newly unopened bottle of Lafroig, and he would get the glasses out and we'd have a drink. And we would watch films together about people with Asperger's. We watched that one, something in Shark, where the two people in the costumes meet and fall in love, and another one with, I don't remember his name. A few different films about Asperger's, and how much we had in common, and how much he wanted me to be diagnosed with Asperger's too. But anyway, he had a lot of problems outside of Asperger's, or maybe caused by Asperger's, which were things like very severe body dysmorphia. He couldn't hold a joy, he couldn't leave the house, he couldn't look in the mirror. All of the mirrors in his house were covered with paper. He also had severe depression and severe anxiety, and he'd been to the doctor, he'd been in and out of the doctor basically his whole life, you know, and they really haven't been able to find anything to help him. And it took so long for him to get into Asperger's support in Britain. The waiting list was just so long that he didn't, by the time he got there, it was really just way too late. Now, onto the worst thing that I've ever done. I think to date, I've only done 2 unforgivable things. One of those I'll take to my grave, I'll never admit to anyone. And the other one's the worst, I think, which I'll tell you now, even though I'm deeply ashamed. I made this friendship with this vulnerable individual, knowing that he had problems with social rejection, that it hurt him very intensely if he perceived that he was being rejected, and that he was very highly likely to perceive that he was being socially rejected unless you explicitly made it clear to him that you were his friend. I explicitly said to him when I was getting ready to go to Australia, our friendship's so valuable to me, I promise you that I'm not just going to disappear, I'm not just going to leave you on your own. I will be in contact with you, we will talk on Skype. He cried. The last time I saw him, he cried. And I was saying, don't worry, I'll be seeing you soon, it won't be long and I'll stay in contact. And he just cried, and I think he knew what was going to happen. He asked me if I would be okay if he killed himself. If he wasn't around anymore, is the way he put it. If I wasn't around anymore, would you be okay? And I said, I thought we were having a debate. Like, I haven't told this story well, but the way it came up was almost like he was asking me, do I think it's okay for someone to kill themselves? I haven't told the story well. Yeah, let's start with that. Do I think it's okay for someone to kill themselves? And I said, I think it would be fucking tragic if you killed yourself, but I think that I would understand. I think that you have every right to choose not to spend the rest of your life suffering if you want to, but I would miss you so much, and I hope that never ever has to become a reality. At least I said that, but I did say I would be okay without him. I went to Australia. When I first got there, I Skyped with him within the first week when I got there. I didn't tell this part during the Australia story because I can't talk about it without just losing my shit. But after about a week after I got there, I Skyped with him and just reassured him again I wasn't going anywhere, I was going to be his friend, and he seemed quite depressed, but I was like, I'm going to be back in contact. And then over the next 3 months, I finally, for the first time in about a decade, for the first time since I was a teenager, I started making successful social connections. I started seeing that it was beautiful and sunny outside and going outside and joining a meetup group and doing some stuff. But my mental health finally alleviated enough that I could experience what normal people get to be like every day, and I just wanted to experience that. So when I saw his messages, or really messages from any of my depressed friends in Britain, I kind of ignored them because I knew that would just drag me back into that, and I was never going to just ignore him or ghost on him at all. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh no, I'll do that on the weekend, I'll do that next week, I'll do that next week. I had several messages from him, and then there was silence. And I was just like, it was in the back of my head, like, oh, I really need to catch up with him. I really need to just check he's okay. But I didn't. And then I got an email from his brother saying that he had been admitted to a mental hospital. And while he was awaiting transfer to a specialist unit for autistic people, he had taken his own life. And I wasn't given any details. I was told that I had been on a list of people his brother had found on his computer to be notified in the event of his death. So some of you may actually have known this guy, but I can't tell you who it was. He didn't make YouTube videos, so you're not likely to know him as a YouTuber, but if you hang around, you might have known him. And I think when I first found out about it, I was just horrified, but it was kind of like, I was in the middle of my good mental health period in Australia, and I was like, oh, this is going to make me absolutely crash. This is going to take away everything that I've worked so hard, saved so hard to get here. And it was just, to me, it was just me. If I think about this too much. And then over the time, I gradually got more and more depressed as I was in Australia, and I think it's because I was trying not to think about this and the worst thing that I've ever done, leaving him and not answering his messages when I knew he was down, when I encouraged him to rely upon me when I was his only friend. It's the worst thing I've ever done, and I will never forgive myself. I know that my intentions weren't bad when I did it, but it was unforgivable, and I will never be able to forgive myself for that. Anyway, I wanted for there to be this video of him, for him, because firstly I wanted to admit to everyone I don't deserve for you to admire me if you don't know that about me, the worst thing I've ever done. But I also, it's the 2 years since he died and nothing's changed, nothing's fucking changed, no one's noticed, no one cares. It's so heartbreaking. He didn't have any friends, he was alone in his bedroom, you didn't know him, but he was the kindest person. He was a feminist, anti-racist, socialist. He was, concerned about animal welfare and all the things that make a person a decent human that deserves to be liked and loved by other people. He was those things, and he was those things to just the nth degree, and I wanted to remember him. I wanted for people that didn't know him maybe to remember him, because it's not right when people die, when people kill themselves, when people die alone. Hey YouTube, sorry I lost you there. My sound card cut out, so I had to upload it to my laptop and come back. It's all fucking real here on the Band Size channel, right? So anyway, what I was saying is it's not right. It's not right that man died alone, and it's not right what we do to people or how we leave people with mental health problems. It's so not right what I did, and I'll have to live with that forever. And I wanted to play a song for him in his memory, because one of the last things we did was watch the first Hobbit film together, and this is a song from The Hobbit. And I wanted to play a song for him, so here it goes. This is to end in fire, we shall all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, oh, stand by and we will watch the flames burn open on the mountainside. If we should die tonight, we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out, Father, oh, prepare and we will watch the flames burn open on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. I see fire inside the mountain, I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you'll remember me. Oh, should my people fall, surely I'll do the same, confined in mountain holes. We got too close to the flame, calling out, Father, oh, hold fast and we will watch the flames burn open on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain, I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you'll remember me. And if the night is burning, I will cover my eyes my people screaming out, hear my people screaming out. I see fire inside the mountain, I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire burning the breeze. I see fire, oh you know I saw a city burning. I see fire, feel the heat upon my skin. I see fire, I see fire burn open on mountainside. You can never, like, there's never anything that's beautiful enough that you can leave as a memorial for someone like him. But it means a lot to me that maybe 100 people will watch this video and 100 people will think about him, that he died alone, that you really need to find out the people that are depressed and help them. And people can't fucking make it on their own, and we can't. The really hard thing about all of this has been how much we had in common, like how hard it is for me to see that I should be alive when he's not, because we had so much in common, right? And he was just a lot smarter than me. He was Cambridge University educated, poor, but he went there on a scholarship because he was that fucking smart. He was a genius level, like literally he was a member, he was offered to become a member of Mensa, that declined the invitation because he was too basically humble and didn't like how it made him feel elitist. That's the kind of person that he was. He was an incredible guy. And it makes me just so hard for me to feel like if I die, no one will notice. If I kill myself, if I ever killed myself, I would make sure to leave a note like, hey, please can someone post on YouTube to let people know, like, I'm not coming back. But I said to my friend and he agreed with me. I said to a different friend that's still alive, my best friend, oldest friend, if I ever kill myself and you go to my funeral and people are there saying, oh, if only we'd known, we could have tried to help her. Tell them to go fuck themselves and punch them in the fucking face. Refer them to 8 years of YouTube videos talking about how much I struggle. Has anyone tried to help me in 8 years? Not really. I've had the occasional nice comment. What I'm saying is, it might make you feel better after someone's died to say that you would have helped if you'd known, but you know I'm depressed and it ain't helping me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm going to kill myself. I'm saying, like, you need to treat depression like a fatal, serious illness because it kills good people. You need to take it seriously. And when I say I've had a bad 3 days, I mean, I'm seriously thinking I might end up like my friend. Not, oh, I just, like, had a really stressful day at work. Fucking depression is serious. So, anyway, sorry, I'm going to try, is there a nice positive ending to this video? Not really, no, my friend is dead and he'll never be alive again. And he's dead because people didn't care. And because I didn't care, mostly because I didn't care. Sorry about that angry outburst, I'm probably projecting a little bit of my guilt there. Yeah, it's not up to you to help me, but I offered to help him. I had a responsibility to him that I just abdicated of. Anyway, that's the worst thing I've ever done. So this is in memory of you. I miss you, I really do. There's not really a day that goes by where I don't think about you at some point. I miss you. I haven't had a glass of Lafroig since because I can't taste it. Can't taste it without crying. I miss you, I miss you. Thank you for listening. Peace.